What's up, two viewers? It's Wraith. As most of you know, all 12 of you, my real name's Torian. Today, I want to share something with all of you. In October 2014, my father died. It's still raw and painful, even after almost 5 years forward. My father was an inspiration to me, a far kinder and bigger heart than mine, and he touched many lives. My father's crowning achievement, at least career-wise, was getting to work on Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, as a prop dresser. For that time, you could see so much pride in him. He never felt like he was working. He loved it too much. I was given shortly after his death a video provided by Chris Brennan of Star Walking, the Star Wars fan group. It's an interview my dad did regarding his time with Lucasfilm. I want to share that with you now. I'll be sharing this link to my family, mostly because most of them haven't seen it, some of them have. It's difficult for me to watch. It's painful to see his face and to hear his voice, even after 5 years. But the happiness that he conveys in this, the pride he conveyed while working on Star Wars, is just something I want to share. It is inspirational, and I just think it's time that I shared it with everyone that I can. So if you knew him, or you didn't, at least you'll see and hear a man who's proud, not full of pride or arrogance, but just proud. So I'd like to share this with you, and I'd hope you watch it with me.
Yeah. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Chicken.
Yep. Cool, awesome. So, I guess, what was your first memory of Star Wars? Like, how did you find out about it?
My first memory of Star Wars was reading it I'm from Sydney, in the Sydney Morning Herald, and they had a picture of a stormtrooper with the shot of the laser beam, which had never been seen before. And it went into details of it was the first computer-generated special effects, which I just went ballistic. So I grabbed everything, every magazine, every newspaper clipping, read everything about it. That year I had work experience at a company called Film Graphics, and so then I squeezed every ounce of information I could of the guys that knew the special effects. They were an animation company. So I found everything else out about the film. I was in year 10. I gave a lecture at my high school because I was the only one that knew anything about it, and it was the buzz. It didn't come out here until about October in '77. So when I got the chance, I finished my year 10 maths exam, hate maths, raced off to it was like a 30-minute walk to the train station, went with about a dozen friends from school, caught the train all the way into the city, and then saw Star Wars for the first time. It was like, yep, hate maths, going to see something cool. And that was it for me. Stuck, glued.
And do you have a favourite character or scene from Star Wars?
I've actually got to say, I know people will complain, but Episode 1, the lightsaber duel between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, fantastic, blew my mind. Other than the opening sequence from Episode 4, which, as a kid, special effects weren't that great. Logan's Run, 2001, that was pretty good, but there was nothing to match what that opening sequence was.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Certainly changed the way movies are made.
Oh, certainly did, yeah.
Changed the industry.
Yes.
And I guess with the prequels that were they were shot in Sydney. So how did you got on board with Episode 2 and 3?
Well, I came into the computer industry very late in life. I was married, had a couple of kids. I got my first computer. I got interested in computer effects. And I had a good friend who worked for the company that I bought my first computer from. And he wanted to get into the industry. He was learning how to do the high technical stuff, coding, typing in numbers and getting pictures to appear. I helped him with his first and second film. He managed to get a job working on the Power Rangers, actually. And he was basically headhunted by ILM at Digital Media World in Sydney. He ended up at ILM, we were close friends. So at one stage, I knew that they were going to come and film in Sydney. So I sent him off my portfolio. Said, can you show, Don Bees at the time was in charge of models at ILM. Don said, I'm not with models, I'm going to be doing R2-D2. Have a word to Rick. And so Jerome went, how do I approach Rick? So he goes, oh, I just did. And I was working for a company doing web development. It was really a horrible job. While I was working there, I get a telephone call. The switch said, there's someone from the States asking for me. I was, oh, okay. I had a couple of guys working in the office. Picks up the phone and says, oh, hi, it's Rick here. He says, I've been talking to Jerome. I went, Rick, who the... And I went, what? So I got this paper and I'm scribbling down, Rick McCallum. And I'm showing it to my friend. I was going, oh, I'm calm and cool. Ah! And so the office went spare. And so had massive conversation. It was a good conversation. It was just a chat. And he said, look, I've got my employees coming out soon. Have you got some time? Yes, no problem. I don't care what day. I'm there. Then I met Ty Teager and Peter Walpole at the Swiss Arms at Bondi. And we had a couple of tipples. And it was a big, long chat. And really, apart from looking quickly at my portfolio, it was just a chat about life, really. And then a couple of months later, I started working on episode 2. Yeah.
And because like you're on episode 2, is it the props dresser?
Props dresser, yeah, yep.
So what was like, I guess the role, like the responsibilities behind?
A props dresser is so the prop maker may make some of the detailed props, but generally it's like here's a box, and then they hand it to me and say make it look like it's from outer space. So then we add all the embellishments. Sadly, I couldn't finish it. Being a prop maker myself, I'm used to design, building, painting, finishing. They would take it off me and someone else would paint, which was a bit frustrating, but hey, you know, it was still there. My third week working there, I had a shopping trolley going through the warehouse with all the bits and pieces to make anything, and I'm humming and whistling, and all the other people go, why are you so happy? And I remember saying, they're paying me to do this.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. And did you have any like stories about like I don't know when you met George Lucas during?
There was an incident. Everyone will recognise there's a massive explosion at the start of episode 2. There's spaceship debris. We had the spaceship debris in a truck. The truck was backing up. Poor Steve, the truck driver, he didn't mean to, but he sped up and then slammed the brakes on. So all the debris came out of the truck, and it was me in a bollard, so I was crushed behind it. So I had my arm in a sling. So in a previous life, I was a photographer, so they moved me out of props because I had one arm to the photographic department. And then I was the props liaison to the photographic department. So we photographed everything. If it was made, it had a photo taken of it, and it was archived, etc. And from there, that's where I got to really meet people. I got on set, helping the on-set photographer. And so, you know, I basically met just about every, you know, actor in the film then.
Yeah. And so, was there any like funny stories that happened on set? I know when you were...
Ewan used to smoke, okay, and he was waiting to get his photo taken, and he says, I've got a great idea. Jason, who's in charge of merchandising, he said, I've got a great idea. He said, smoking Puff Billy Obi-Wan. He took a drag of his cigarette and he just pushed his head. He went, shoot, shoot. He says, yeah, we can do that. That was, you know, really insane. Ewan was a perfect gentleman, a really great guy, no prima donna. I didn't meet anybody that was a prima donna. Everybody, I mean, George was very quiet, lovely man to talk to. I came back after the film had finished filming to archive some of the stuff and to categorise everything. And I spent a lot of time with Rick. He's a really nice guy, you know, fun to talk to.
Yeah, no, he definitely seemed like all the interviews I've seen of him, like he seems like, yeah, like you'll be able to, you know, strike up a good conversation with him.
So enthusiastic and so much into having the fun, which the film was. I mean, it was a lot of work, and it was hard work, but it was just fun, you know.
And do you have like a favorite? I guess like do you have a favorite prop from the prequels?
Well, the gentleman called Tom, he had this little workshop in the prop department, and he had a metal lathe, etc., and he was making the hero props. And he stuck his head out one day and he said, "Hey, Glenn, have a look at this." He said, "I've just finished it." So I was the second person to hold Mace Windu's lightsaber, his hero lightsaber, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was gorgeous. That was really my favourite prop. I didn't help make it, you know, but it was so good. It was awesome. Later on in years, I bought a replica, and I bought it online, and the guy who sold it to me said, you know, how do you? It was good PR. He said, you know, how do you like it? Was it, you know, is it beautiful? I said, it's lovely. I said, it's a little large. And he sent me back an email saying, well, no, it was modelled off, you know, the exact size of the lightsaber. And I said, no, I was the second human to hold that thing. It's not the same size. So it was to fit the batteries in.
And I guess, like how, I guess, just got a question, like how has like Star Wars, I guess, impacted your life, essentially?
Wow, well, it certainly changed. Although I'm a graphic artist now, at school I wanted to be a graphic artist, but Star Wars made me know I want to work in the film industry. And the film industry it's worse than cocaine. It is addictive. It's hard work, but you just want to get back to set. You want to always be on set. George steered me in a direction of I've done special effects, you know, I've even got into makeup, you know, effects, and now I'm doing some CG stuff. And yeah, George just changed from one direction to another, you know.
And I think there's all the questions I have. The one thing I'd like to ask, if you can, would just do like a personalised kind of thank you message to George.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can look straight at the camera,
Yep.
that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, and so be short and sweet or elaborate. Yeah, so it's like
Sure.
up to you. Yeah. So
Yep.
Yeah. So just when you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, George, I actually said this to you in person at the shoot party and at the R.I.P party, and you and I actually spoke when you were concerned about my arm being in a sling. Thank you. You put me in the place I am today, and I'm doing really well, and it's all your fault.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
And I just got you to say just one line. I just want to say the line "Thank the Maker" because that's the name of the documentary, and like at the start of the I'm going to have people.
Oh, of
saying
course.
that line.
Yes. Okay.
Again, like face front of the camera. So,
Yep.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Okay. Thank the maker.
Cool. All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah. There you go.
There you have it. My father and his work on Star Wars. Glenn Alfred Sheridan, born 19th of February 1992 and departed October 2014. Rest in peace, Dad. We all miss you immensely.